All right, for today's video, it's going to be the next step on our journey of taking a look at the Hasbro Pulse Con Exclusive Transformers Legacy United Dino King box set / Dinoforce box set. And yeah, for our first video, we took a look at Gairyu, then we took a look at Kukuryu, and for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Gairyu, who also, I should say, if I'm pronouncing any of these wrong, I'm sorry. The Japanese pronunciations are kind of rough, even though I watched Transformers Victory. But yeah, like I said, the only two that were really prominent characters in Victory were Gairyu and Kukuryu, if I remember correctly. So the other four were just kind of there to make Dino King. But yeah, no, I quite like this guy. Obviously, you know, in terms of the like these guys being retools of the core class Dinobots that came out in Legacy Evolution. This guy was kind of our first indication that this box set was going to be happening because, you know, obviously we had this mysterious sixth member of the Dinobots here to make part of the combiner, and it was an Ankylosaurus, and we're like, okay, interesting. Dino King had an Ankylosaurus. Grimlock's the leg. That's weird. So, yeah, no. Like I said, I don't have any of those guys, so these guys are my first exposure to these molds. But yeah, we'll take off all the stuff, put it off to the side, and just take a look at Gairyu here, who thankfully doesn't have any extra stuff that he's responsible for. Like, he's got the combined mode arm, which just becomes his tail in his dinosaur mode, which does unfortunately mean that he does just have a big fist kind of hanging out the end of his tail here, which is a little bit unfortunate. But other than that, he's okay here in his little Ankylosaurus mode. In terms of articulation, the pretty much just the legs are on swivels, and then the tail here you can rotate. You can also rotate this bit up if you want to, but I don't think that's really all that useful. And I guess you can kind of bend the head down, but it reveals his robot mode head. It is supposed to be kind of clicked into place. And yeah, this guy's pretty cool. I think he might be my favorite of the six, even though he is one of the four that doesn't have like elbow joints in robot mode, just because probably honestly he just learns a lot of points by not looking like a prominent like Dinobot character, because this guy is a repaint of core class Scar, who, you know, only was kind of recognizable from the comics. So like having just like an Ankylosaurus character doesn't immediately scream out like, oh, this guy's obviously a repaint of Slag, or like this guy's obviously a repaint of Grimlock. Like he kind of has his own identity, which is nice. Also, I do appreciate that he doesn't have a bunch of extra stuff to kind of like peg on top of him. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, just for a standard one, here he is with Kingdom Sideswipe. Here he is with a standard core class with Vertebrake there, also from Kingdom. Sorry if you can hear the sirens in the background. And yeah, to get onto transformation, obviously you just want to unpeg his tail here. Oh, I also forgot to mention, this guy, just like Gairyu, kind of gets away with just being a repaint of a like, you know, another character, because he was actually, from the original toy, the same color as his outer like shell from the Pretender shell, so he actually does kind of look like his original one. Again, I also imagine because he didn't have to be super, you know, beholden to any Dinobot character, they could actually sculpt him to look a bit more like his original G1 toy, which is nice in dinosaur mode. But yeah, for transformation, you just take the tail off. You want to take the back legs, and they'll actually flip all the way around. In this tab here, we'll go into this bit just like that, so they sit like that. Then you take the legs, unfold them, separate them, take these sections here, and they'll just split open like that to be the arms, rotate them around at the waist, and then take the dinosaur mode head and flip it to the back. You can also, if you want, I usually take the combined mode peg and flip that down so that you can flip the head a little bit further. And there you have Gairyu in his robot mode. And yeah, he's got a nice looking head sculpt here. I like the new head sculpt with the kind of smirk there. And yeah, no, he looks pretty good. Again, he gets a lot of points in my book just from not immediately looking like an obvious Dinobot character. But yeah, in terms of articulation, the head's on a swivel there. The shoulders are on ball joints, so they can rotate around like that. And then also he does have that sort of forward butterfly joint for transformation. Nothing at the elbows, unfortunately, which again is really kind of a bummer, but whatever. He's got a swivel at the waist, ball joints at the hips. We can go forward and back and out to the side, provided that his arms get out of the way. He's got ball joints at the knees, which get a pretty deep bend for transformation, and then obviously give him the thigh rotation, and that's pretty much it. Nothing at the feet there. In terms of his weapon, how you're supposed to have him hold it is rotate it around like this and have him hold this little peg as a gun, which I think looks pretty stupid. Personally, what I prefer to do is actually have him hold it this way and then rotate this bit like this, so it's a kind of like more of like a mace club weapon, and I just think that helps disguise the hand a little bit better and just looks like more of like a convincing, bludgeoning weapon than it does a shooting weapon. But whatever. In terms of storage for this, there's no like really great place to put it. I mean, you can just peg it back onto the or not back on, because that's not where it pegged in before, to the combine mode port there, which looks a little silly. You could also, like, what I tend to do is actually plug it out of the hand and then rotate this bit back, so he's got a bit of a tail, but you can actually adjust it because he's got that, like wrist joint there. So that's personally how I choose to store it, but either way, not really super elegant storage, unfortunately. But yeah, in terms of comparisons in this mode, here he is again with Sideswipe and with Vertebrae, just so you can see what he looks like with some average size comparisons there. Here he is with HasLab Deathsaurus, so you can see what he looks like with the big boss there. Again, like I've said with the other ones, scale, not amazing, but, at least he's quite a bit smaller than Deathsaurus like he's supposed to be, but, it doesn't really work out super well. And here he is again with Gairyu and Kakuryu, so you can see how the team is looking so far. And yeah, they're a fun little set. Again, I think that this guy really just earned a lot of points from me for not obviously being a Dinobot, but still, he kind of has some of the same issues as the other guys, like not having elbows, but at least he doesn't have to hold a bunch of extra stuff in his alt mode. So again, pretty good, pretty decent points for that as well. So yeah, like I said, I think he might be my favorite, but they're like the two blue guys are honestly the best figures overall, just by virtue of the fact that they literally have elbows, but they also, I feel like, are the ones that look the most like their, original Dinobot characters. So we'll get to that when we get to that. But for now, that's pretty much all there is to Gairyu here. But yeah, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Transformers Dinoforce box set, Legacy United Gairyu.